Relax, stop. Prep, stop.
Start. Okay. I have a couple of rhetorical questions for you, which means you don't actually have to answer them, but I'd like you to think about them, because I think they frame the persuasive element of what I have to discuss with you. When you go to the airport, let's say you're going to go take a flight from Philly to Orlando, how many of you thoroughly enjoy being cavity searched? Being prodded, being probed, being touched, being gone through in every way, being treated as if you are a terrorist until you can prove that you are not. One. Think about it. Another question. How many of you enjoy being made to feel like you should feel privileged for being treated like cattle on an airplane, being given a half a cup of stale soda, a little bag of pretzels that don't even have nutritional information on them? But made to feel like you should feel very special for giving the $1,500 or whatever it costs to get from Philadelphia to Orlando. Think about it. Another question for you. How about this? How many of you enjoy being rerouted from Philly? So go from Philly to Orlando, but somehow you go through Detroit and Chicago, Lexington, Kentucky, making 5 or 6 landings to make that trip. How many enjoy that? And lastly, without being too contentious, how many of you enjoy knowing that the only link between your safety and being in a fiery ball of airplane parts is a 20-year-old, 21-year-old making $19,000 a year, who's a little sleepy because his late night shift at Outback, which he has to do in order to keep his job, kept him up a little extra that particular night? I'm guessing none of you really enjoy those things, and I'm here to tell you that there's actually an option. In 40 hours is a work week, right? 40 hours, you can have enough hours to be a private pilot yourself and say goodbye to the wands, say goodbye to the orifices searches, and be the commander of your own destiny. In 40 hours, you can be taught how to be a private pilot in a single-engine airplane, and certainly regionally have an alternate. You don't have to get on these buses. You may say to yourself, now I can see that you're getting some rhetorical questions of your own in your own minds. You're thinking to yourself, there's a problem with this. It's expensive to become a private pilot. It's going to cost lots of money. Only rich people become pilots. Wrong. You're talking a couple $100 a month for a year and a half. I've had some students be able to do this in 3 months. I've had some take 5, 6 years to do it part-time. You can get in an airplane. You can take off whenever the heck you want, first thing in the morning, last thing in the night. You can go right to Florida, drop it off in Orlando, spend an hour, get back in and go back. Just last week, I woke up in the morning and I thought, I love those pancakes at Cape May County Airport. So I got up and I flew to Cape May, had some pancakes, I flew home. Cost me $100, okay, but I did. You may be saying to yourself, okay, maybe it's not too expensive, but I'm afraid. Can I do this? Am I afraid? I don't want to take on the responsibility. No, I don't want to take on the responsibility of flying this thing. I'd rather delegate it to a 20-year-old who makes 19 grand. No, okay, I'm still a little afraid to do this landing business. I'll tell you, I myself became a private pilot. I've been a pilot now for 14 years. Logged 4,000 hours or so. I've been teaching airplane flying for the last 12 years. And I can tell you the reason that I got into it was because I was afraid to fly. In fact, in the early 90s, there were a couple of huge accidents, very high profile U.S. Airways accidents. A couple hundred people got dropped over Pittsburgh, and another couple hundred down in North Carolina. It scared the patooties out of me. And long and short was, I realized it was just a control issue that was making me afraid of getting on these airplanes. Once I actually got on one, had a discovery flight, and actually could fly this thing, I was like, holy crud, this is just a little go-kart that goes up and down. I can do this. In fact, my first instructor looked at me and said, don't be nervous. I can teach a poodle how to fly. And so he taught me. So, what I have to say to you is, come down to my flight school, This is my handout, has my card on. It's my phone number, has my web address. Please, the call to action is look at my website. Monday nights, 8 o'clock is our ground school. It's free. It's try, joy. Come be a private pilot. Be the master of your own destiny. Thank you.